morning and hey howdy, it's your lucky day. Once again, you're like, James, how do you figure out what's on my mind? Today I was just thinking, I thought, you know what? These people, they want to label their panels. No, seriously though, you probably don't. Most of the time I don't, and I'm an electrician. But panel labeling is actually a thing, and I have lots of homeowners as we're doing work say, hey, how much would it cost to label my panel? And I usually tell them $300 or $400. I know, you should gasp. But here's the thing, you've got licensed electricians wandering around your house, turning your stuff on and off, and then making a list. Here's the cool fact. You can also wander around your house making lists. All it takes to label a panel is this. So you come up, you look at your panel, and a lot of panels either have no labeling or the labeling is super vague. So here even on poor Hal, you see here it says, on this panel it says kitchen, misspelled, but that doesn't make it less accurate. It's just kind of funny. Kitchen, well, kitchen what? Kitchen plugs, kitchen lights. What part of the kitchen? And part of that doesn't matter until you're trying to do some work in your kitchen, and it takes you an hour to figure out what it takes to shut it off to make this thing, whatever it is you're working on, to go away. So here's my suggestion. You and a second person, both on cell phones, get them on speaker, and get a notebook, okay? You'll notice if your panel is older, the space they give you to write is minuscule. So if the circuit is for maybe a dedicated item, like you have one breaker for your furnace or one breaker for your washing machine, that's easy. But what if, and it's common, you'll have a breaker that covers several bedrooms or just the lights in one bedroom and plugs in the other. You want some space. So get yourself a notebook and label it. Most panels you have odd numbers on the left, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, evens on the right, 2, 4, 6, 8. Label this on down and just go through and label it on your notebook first, okay? That way if you have one breaker or one circuit that takes up a bunch of space, you can lay it out and plan it, okay? The whole point of this is giving yourself a tool that you're not paying $400 for, so that when it comes time for you to shut something off in your house, or it's, God forbid, an emergency, you need to shut it off quickly, you can find it and turn it off, okay? So the easy low-hanging fruit when you're labeling is in the trade we call the dedicated circuits. That's going to be stuff like for your water heater, if it's electric, for your furnace, for your washing machine, supposed to be for your bathrooms, depending on how old your house is, and so on. And the way to do that is either grab some kind of tester, or old school, we grabbed a lamp that we knew worked, and just run around and plug in the lamp, okay? Here's the other thing with this. As you're labeling, if you're impatient or you're late for another appointment, don't do it. If the point is to make this accurate so it's useful for you and for whoever else is in the house, don't rush it. So, little known fact, most houses, especially if you live in a development from several years ago, were wired by somebody who may or may not have been hung over the day they wired your house. So the point is, you may not have one circuit breaker, it's true, one circuit breaker per room. It's not going to be that neat and tidy, I guarantee it. So the point is, if you're fussy or got your mind somewhere else, this is tedious work. Don't do it then. Do it when you've got a second, cup of coffee or whatever, a cell phone or a line that you can yell to the other person, shut it off, go around, find out everything that's off, okay? It's that technical, really. You can pay me or an electrician to do it, but even in an average size house with a couple hours you know the person, it'd actually be something that's really useful and could be fun, okay? Last thing that you're going to run into that you don't know about yet, you're going to come across a breaker that you don't know where it goes. In other words, you've turned off everything but that breaker, you can't find it. So what do? Great question. If you have that one breaker and you don't know what it controls, okay, a couple things you can do. If you're the anxious worrier type of person, leave it off. Live with it for a couple days. If it doesn't affect anything, who knows? It went to the attic. I know it doesn't sound super scientific. You may have a breaker that goes up into your attic or your crawl space, in which case, probably not worth it for you to chase it down, okay? Beyond that, at that point, you'd want to call an electrician or somebody who's willing to trace wires in the attic, okay, or in the crawl space to figure that out. You may also have a circuit that went to part of a plug or a switch, and in the meantime, you've had a remodel done, okay, and that circuit was abandoned, okay? So just to give you somewhere to go with that, so you're not like, we've got a mystery breaker. You can either leave it off, leave it on, try to find it later, but really, the safest thing, if you're not sure, leave it off, see what happens, okay? I know that sounds, again, not very definite, but again, if you live in a house that was part of a development and it was wired or it's been remodeled several times, there's potentially a lot of interesting electrical stuff going on, okay? So by all means, label your panel. This ranks right up there with smoke detectors, lawn maintenance, okay? You don't have to live with basically a bunch of question marks. Label it, and then I would say is once you get your notes and this is all done, you can either print it out, do a spreadsheet, tape it onto the inside door, and you're good to go, okay? Thank you for your time. Subscribe, like the video, and I love your suggestions or any horror stories you have about not being able to find the right breaker. They're out there. Take care.